On October 16, 2018, I interviewed a family friend about his experiences with science. His name is Robbie, he's 8 years old, and he's currently enrolled as a third grader in the public school system. Prior to the interview, his mother informed me that he loves exploring science, so I knew he would be a great child to observe. His mother and grandmother are both teachers, so I wanted to see if their teaching skills influenced the amount of science he experienced on a day-to-day basis. Specifically, the goal of this interview was to examine a science philosophy through the eyes of an 8-year-old. As a future teacher, I wanted to know more about what 8-year-olds want to learn about. How do they view science? What kind of science do they like? And most importantly, for my concerns, what do they think science is? I would like my future students to see that science is everywhere, so I use this interview as a catalyst to get an idea of where in the world 8-year-olds might develop a passion for science. I prefaced the beginning of the interview by telling Robbie exactly what my goal was: to learn from him, the expert, on how I should go about teaching science in all of my future classrooms. He knew that I was there to learn from him and not the other way around. I told him that I was a student as well, learning to teach science, and that I needed his help in order to do so that I can benefit my future students in the best way possible. The interview with Robbie lasted 12 minutes long and took place around his kitchen table. While chatting, he munched on some pink donuts and Halloween-decorated donuts I picked up prior to arriving at his house. I knew he was a little shy, so I wanted to kind of ease him into it. This was a great topic to include in the interview, though, i.e., do you think it took science to make those pink donuts? I didn't realize it when I bought the pink donuts, and it wasn't my intention to include that in the interview, but after talking to Robbie, I realized that real-life application was exactly what he needed to get going. Robbie shared the idea that it is definitely science because of the way the ingredients combine to make something else, and I thought that was brilliant. Much like that, all of my interview questions were posed in a way that would allow Robbie to be the expert. There was no right answer, rather just his opinion, and he knew that. My priority questions follow these guidelines. Why do you like science? Where do you see science? How do you explore science in school? How would you like to explore science? If you could learn about any science topic right now, what would it be? Although these questions are straight to the point, Robbie and I talked about a vast amount of topics in between, such as trees changing, food science, slime, and science on TV. We discussed how he sees science in the Magic School Bus, superhero movies, and more. At one point, Robbie described the science lab in the new movie Black Panther and how the characters use the computers, which he mentioned as also being science, technology, to create soups or potions, as he refers to them. I even learned that his favorite kind of science is weather science. He lit up when talking to me about I Survived books. I had never read them before, but he explained that they are about a boy surviving through natural disasters. After chatting with Robbie about his experiences, I learned that the science concepts that most excite him are the ones where he can see tangible results. In weather, he can physically see the sky change, or leaves change, or feel the temperature change, and so on and so forth. We see it every single day, and that's exactly why it excites him. He likes learning about weather science because he's able to transfer his knowledge regarding it to the physical application of it. The fact that he can observe it happening in real life and then use the knowledge he's gained in prior to explain the reason behind those happenings make him actually enjoy what he's learning. The concept is certainly not unfamiliar to us, though. The way Robbie likes to learn directly follows the 5 E's. First, he wants to be engaged by his surroundings. He wants to ask questions. Then he wants to explore this. He wants a physical representation of the phenomena he's questioning. Hands-on science is certainly what he craves. From there, the explanation and elaboration take place for him through his gaining of an answer or new knowledge. He can research, he can figure out answers for himself, he can ask his mom or his grandma questions. Finally, he can apply that knowledge to the real-world phenomena through evaluation, where he sees something happen and now he can explain it for himself and then extend the concept for himself. This process proves to be satisfying for him. He's not being told what is right or what is wrong. It is a process of discovery that allows him to be the expert, and further allows him to remain excited about his learning the entire time. Robbie is only my example, though, but this concept extends to all children. Through talking with him, I know that children want to learn more about things that they can tangibly, visibly experience every day. It is a building process that we will extend throughout all of their lives. However, if we get kids like Robbie interested in asking questions and attempting to discover answers at young ages, such as 8, we are setting them up to succeed in future science classes, and they are not afraid to explore concepts that are unfamiliar to them. Overall, Robbie taught me that the most important thing I can do for my future students is get them excited about engaging in scientific conversations and find ways to make sure that they are always exploring science on the daily. Familiarizing them with the exploration process will take away the fear that is often associated with the term so-called daunting, that is science, in middle school and high school classrooms. My goal is to let my students have fun so that they are ready to be future scientists and they do not shy away from it, but rather jump straight in, hands-on, and ready to ask questions and discover answers. After talking to Robbie, I know this is exactly what I need to bring to my students because he told me that's exactly what he would like for us to bring to him. How old are you, Robbie?
8.
You're 8? So are you 3rd grade? Yeah, very, very cool. So Mom told me that you love science, right? Yeah? All right, cool. I'm learning how to teach science. Kind of like your mom. Your mom teaches, right? I'm learning how to teach science right now. I mean, that's what I'm in school for. I'm in college. And I want to know more about what you like in science and what you're learning so that when I teach 8-year-olds, I know what I can teach and what they want to learn. Is that okay? Yeah? All right, so why do you like science? What do you think?
Because you do a lot of projects on stuff.
You do a lot of projects, so you get to be hands-on and like creative. Yeah. Have you ever done science experiments in school or at home? No. Have you ever made slime? Or have you ever seen someone make slime? No? Colin loves making slime. You've made slime before? Yeah. I've made slime. Do you put things in your slime? No? No. I buy crunchy things and I put them in our slime.
He wants to make glow-in-the-dark slime.
Glow-in-the-dark slime, that's cool.
You see the commercials for it.
Okay. Very cool. That sounds like fun. So what do you learn in school about science?
We did something today about the water and how to save New Orleans.
Okay, you learned about water today? Did you learn about like the water cycle? Yeah? No? No? Do you learn science out of your textbook? Do you read it in books?
Textbook.
You don't have a science textbook? So your teacher just tells you about it? Yeah? Okay, do you watch videos on science? Yeah? What kind of videos?
About Venice.
Okay.
And that's the only video.
That's the only video you've seen? Yeah. Do you wish you watched more? Yeah. Very cool, very cool. I want to know where you see science. So do you think it took science to make those donuts? What do you think?
Yes.
Yeah? Why do you think so?
Because you have to make a big machine and make all the donuts.
So you have to make the machine, and you also have to make all the ingredients. Yeah? And that's all science. Yeah? What about, did you play outside today? What did you see when you were outside?
A light.
A light. Okay. What else? What did you see? Any animals? Any insects? No. Have you ever seen a caterpillar outside? Yeah. What did you see on them?
And a caterpillar, I've seen fuzzy
Fuzzies.
things hang out.
What about the trees? What are different about the trees now that it's colder?
That the leaves have green, yellow, and red, and brown leaves on it.
Mm-hmm. So the leaves are changing color. Yeah. Do you think that's science too? Yeah. Why do you think that's science?
Because trees, you can make it like a project, and the leaves could turn colors.
Yeah. Have you ever done a project about that? No? If you were going to do a project on that, what do you think you'd do? Do you have any ideas?
Make a tree and then make all different color leaves.
So you'd show a bunch of different colored leaves to show how they change through the seasons. Sounds like a pretty cool idea. I like it. Very cool. What about at home? Do you talk about science here? No. Do you ever see it on TV?
Yeah.
Yeah? Like, where do you see it on TV?
Downstairs at the living room.
In the living room? What about what shows do you see it on? Or movies?
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah? You see it on Tom and Jerry? What do they do on Tom and Jerry?
They watch the TV. There's this cat who is scared of mice, and he turns on the TV, and the mouse is inside the TV.
Oh my goodness. That sounds crazy. Does he like the mouse? No, right. What about, have you ever seen shows like Sid the Science Kid? No? What about Magic School Bus?
I've seen a book about it.
You've seen a book about that? Yeah? Do you think there's science in those books? Yeah? What's science about that?
That the school bus comes alive because they probably built made like the school bus to talk and have eyes.
It's pretty cool, right? It's all magic. So that's all science, right? What about where else do we see magic? We see magic in like superhero movies. Do you watch superhero movies? Well, where's science in that?
Science and Black Panther.
Did you see Black Panther? Yeah? I didn't see it. Tell me about it.
So there's this guy and there's his sister. She's a scientist,
Okay.
and she makes all different kinds of stuff. And she also made the suit for him.
So
So
she
he could be Black Panther.
so she made a soup that made him.
And then it's like invincible on his body, and then it's like a button that you click, and then the whole thing shows up on it.
That sounds so cool. It's cool. I'll have to see it. So she's a scientist though, so there's science pretty directly in that movie, right? Is that all she does in the movie? She just makes the soup, or does she make other things for him?
She fights some bad guys.
She fights bad guys. Sounds like a superhero movie. It sounds pretty cool. Do you ever see like a science lab in that movie? Yeah, you get to see her lab. What does that look like? What kind of things are in her science lab?
There's there's a computer.
Technology.
Yeah.
Are there cool like different like mixtures and stuff like that in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah? Very cool. Very cool. Have you ever done a science fair?
No.
No.
No, but we went to one last year, right?
You've been to one? What did you see there? Whole
Some
bunch
things
of
that you
different
did. I mean, I don't
experiments?
know. I'm trying to remember.
I know, it was probably a long time ago. You saw a bunch of different experiments? Yeah?
Somebody had you, didn't somebody do a car with a sail on it and a fan? No, okay, guess not. You didn't do that one.
I did a science fair when I was younger, and I made rock candy at it.
Ah, cool.
That was pretty fun. I liked doing that. I had to make all the different ingredients, and then I took a string, and I let the string sit in the ingredients for a couple days so that it crystallized and formed rock candy. Have you ever had rock candy? No? It's just a whole bunch of sugar. All right, very cool. I like science fairs, though. I think they're fun to explore.
Yeah.
Do you read books about science? I know you mentioned Magic School Bus. Are there any other books that you've read that have science in them? Maybe dinosaur books?
What are those books that I Survived? He likes to read those books.
Okay.
They don't really have science in them though.
Hey, but you never know.
What are they about?
It's just about a kid who survives about like all other like tsunamis and all that stuff, hurricanes.
Okay.
Tornadoes.
Well, that's kind of science, right? All the weather, the way the weather changes, that's all science. right? That sounds pretty cool. And how does he survive them?
He runs away, or he would usually, in one book, the shark bit he hurt his leg, and he survived. He survived in the hospital, and it was his 7th day in the hospital with the sprained foot.
Wow. But he went to the hospital and they helped him survive? What did they use to help him survive?
Like a cast on his foot.
A cast? Did they give him medicine? Do you think that's science too? Do you think they use science to help him survive? Yeah? Why do you think so? Maybe to make the medicine? Yeah, you think? Do you think when you go to the doctor's office they use science to help you feel better too?
Mm-hmm.
Right? To make all the different kinds of medicines? Very cool. All right, if you could learn anything, if you could study something about science every single day, at home, in school, what would it be? Would you want to learn about dinosaurs? Would you want to learn about the weather, about outer space?
The weather.
The weather? You like learning about the weather? Yeah? What do you like about it? Do you know?
No.
It's pretty cool to think about, though. The weather changes every day, right? A few days ago, it was super hot out, right? And now look how cold it is. Did you wear a jacket today? Because it was so cold?
And I also had to wear pants, a long sleeve shirt.
Pants and a long sleeve shirt, so it was really cold then, right? So it's pretty cool to think about the ways it changes, right? And then the way the weather affects our trees, like we talked about before, right? Yeah? Very cool. So you learned about the weather. Like maybe why it rains. It's kind of like the water cycle that we talked about before, right? You learned about water today. That helps weather. So it's everywhere, right? Super cool. All right. And I want you, one more question. Can you tell me in your own words, what do you think science is? It's a very broad question, I know. Do you think it's just experiments? Do you think it's reading about it in books? What do you think? Or do you think it's all of it?
I think it's all of it.
All of it? So you think it's experimenting with it and reading about it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you see it everywhere? Mm-hmm. Like in the pink donuts? Yeah? That you're gonna go grab one up? Very cool. Well, those are all my questions for you. I just wanted to hear where you saw science. Thanks for chatting with me.
You're welcome.